In this lecture, we're going to do the procedure to mirror it to the other side. And this procedure needs to be done pretty precisely, or exactly. So what we're going to do, I'm going to move my cursor to the world origin, and I'm going to create an empty. Just plain arrows. Let me go ahead and turn off the rear suspension modeled parts. Okay. Now I want to parent all of the armatures we have to that empty. And you could try and select them all, but we can also come up here to select all by type, and do armature. And then select this empty last and say Control P, object keep transform. All right, now we want to select the armature or the empty in the outliner right here. So select it, right click and say select hierarchy. So that's going to select all of its children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, etc. Then we want to make a duplicate, so do Shift D, then press Escape without moving it. And before you unselect it, let's make the scale -1. Alright, and before you unselect that, press Shift H and let's isolate this. We need to do a few fixes here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find this this ball joint in here. Somewhere inside here, if you click a few times, you'll find it. So it's this hashtag ball joint, mine's 004, and we need to unparent that. So I'm going to have it selected. I'm going to press Alt P and clear the parent and keep transformation. Now we can delete the objects we don't need that shouldn't have been mirrored. So we can delete this modeled steering rack. We can delete the steering motor, steering slider, and the rigid body steering rack. Alright, now let's press Alt-H and show everything. And the only connection we need to make now is we need to connect that ball joint to the steering rack. So here I don't have a connection for the first, so let's connect it to the steering rack, _steering rack. Now everything should be connected. Alright, now I need to select all the armatures again. So select all by type, armatures, and then I'm going to press Control Numpad Plus just once. And then press Alt P to clear parent. And then we want to select everything and apply the scale. Alright, that's going to make our armatures act a little wacky, but that's okay because we're going to delete them now anyway. So let's select all the armatures. Just press delete. And we want to delete all the empties except for our controller, so let's hide it and then come up here and say select all by type, empty, and we can delete all those. And we can also delete all of our icon spheres. So let's just come out here to outliner and select them. They're all called icospheres. And we can delete those. Don't need those anymore. All right. And the last thing we need to do is we need to parent our steering motor to the upright or the subframe. So let's just do Control P and parent that. And hopefully that will work. So let's see. Control S. And I'm going to do Alt H so I can see my thing here and press play. Now it looks like our steering's working, but it looks like one of our preload motors is reversed, but that's easy to fix. We can pick the one on this side, RY180. Let's Control S and try it again. And if your preload motors are correct, it should be in full rebound like that. If it's a compression, you need to flip them. So it looks like that's all working. I can reset this if I'm going to do that. All right. So your steering should be working, and yep, that all looks good. We probably need to delete, in fact, let's just do it this way. We're going to disable our front motors since this is rear wheel drive. So let's just delete these, we'll just delete the drivers for them. So for acceleration, I'm going to delete this driver and make sure it's at 0. And there's no parking brake on the front axle. We don't want that. So we're going to delete that driver also, and it's at 0. So that all looks good. Let me just zero out the steering like that, and I'm going to save it.